Hello, I'm Michelle Kennison, and we're Group 10, and we chose project number 6 to build a public library system. We'll give you a quick project overview and talk about the use cases we prioritized and delivered for this project. Then we'll demo our application and talk through our code organization and deliverables. As Albert Einstein said, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. We chose to build a library application for our project, not only because they are readily accessible, but because they perform a critical service to their surrounding communities. Libraries have a lot going on, from managing inventory for multiple types of media to tracking and maintaining patron memberships and late fees. The use cases listed on these 2 slides show the use cases we prioritized and delivered for this project. Of course, for a real-world library application, we would have many more use cases to include. As you can see, we've organized our use cases by page to make it easier to see where the action is happening in our application. The project description called for the ability to search through library inventory, track checkout status of each item, track late fees, and manage users in the database. As you can see, we've met those requirements and more. As we learned in this class, it takes a lot of code to address the use cases we prioritized. We'll cover our application's use cases more specifically in the following sections. Nick and Aaron are going to now walk us through a quick demo of the application.
Hey, I'm Nick. I'm going to demo a little bit of a regular user. We'll talk about registering a user, searching for an item, and checking out an item at the library. So when the user comes to the library, they're presented here, the home page of the library. So a user can come in without logging in and browse and see the items that we have available. But if he wants to check out an item, he first needs to log in. And to be able to log in, the user would need to register. So here we have filled in some account information for a user in the interest of time. And we create the account and the registration is successful. But if I were to log in with that user, it wouldn't be very interesting because he hasn't checked anything out yet. So I'm going to log in with a test user that we have previously created. It's here on my dashboard. It shows the materials that I have checked out, also the items that I have past due, and the late fees associated with those. And if I had anything coming due within the next 10 days, they would show up here. Now, as a user, I could come in here and actually check out items. And now I'll log out, and that will end my session.
I'm Aaron Leonard, and yes, I'm going to go through the interaction of an admin user. I'm going to log in as test admin. And as you can see, we're brought to a new page, the admin dashboard, where I can see all of the items that are past due, the late fees for each of those items, and the member who has checked out those late items. If I scroll down here to the bottom, I'm able to see also the items that are due here within the next couple days. Here in this admin menu, there's a couple different options. One of them that we'll take a look at is the user search, where I can look for users. I'll look for the user that Nick just showed us. And here I'm able to change any of the attributes of this user, such as their email or their password, and also see all of their active items, the late fees, the items that they've checked out. Again, everything about this user I'm able to look at and change. If I come back here to the dashboard, I'm able to focus in on any of the items, and I'm given options that are not available to regular users, such as editing the item, deleting the item, adding a copy, and various actions on individual copies itself. If I come back up here to the admin menu, I'm able to add a new item. Okay, we're coming in here to where we can add an item. I'm going to make a new item called "This is an Awesome Book." It's going to be published today. It's going to be a book written by George Lucas. Awesomeness. He's getting into books these days, away from movies. This item has been added successfully. So now if we come in here and search for George Lucas, we'll be able to see this new book that we just added. This is an awesome book, in addition to the Lego Batman movie that he apparently directed. So here it has automatically added a single copy of this book. Let's add a new copy. This book isn't in like new condition, it's just in very good condition, and it's in the Bountiful location. We'll add it, and we're brought back to the item detail page where we have this new Bountiful book. It's in very good condition. Let's say we have a test user come in and he's going to check it out. As he's checking it out, it's actually got a stain on it, so we're going to say it's in worn condition. It's going to be checked out by test user. It's checked out today. Let's say it's due back next week, again at the Bountiful location. So when we come back here to the item detail page, this item is now no longer able to be checked out. It is checked out by that test user. And let's say when he brings it back, it's in terrible condition. We can no longer rent it out or check it out to other users. So we're going to have to delete the book or delete that copy of the book. This copy is no longer available. And apparently this original copy also came back in terrible condition. So now we have no longer any copies of this book available. So we're just going to delete the entire item because this item no longer exists. So we're going to delete it. And let's come back here and search for any items created by George Lucas. And that book is no longer available, just the one Lego Batman movie. I'm going to go back to the presentation, and we've gone over all of the admin actions that are available. And I'm going to turn the presentation over to Noah.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about security and the efforts that we took to protect against SQL injection, things like that, authorization, who's able to access which resources, and the roles that give them those access rights. Okay, so for the SQL injection, we really sort of wanted to double up on it. We created stored procedures to help take the inputs so that we could force input types instead of sending SQL across from PHP. And then from the PHP side, we created several functions to help sanitize the data that users input before it goes to SQL. You can see those functions here, and you can see examples of where we call those on some of our pages here. Now for authentication for login and stuff, we do hash and salt all of our passwords. So we're storing those, we're not storing the actual passwords. When somebody logs in successfully, it's comparing those hash passwords, not the actual ones. And then it creates this user object, which stores important things like is the user an admin in their group, stuff like that. And then along with that, our user class, we instantiate the roles into an array and things so that those can be accessed by other pages. We use the check session PHP. We have that to help validate which role somebody's a member of, which checks against each page, which you see on the screenshot to the right here, which we include on the tops of the pages of which roles are allowed to use that page. And then for our actual roles, we have 7 roles with various things. Some have admin access, some don't. Those all get validated by the pages. We can see that when we're on the account details page of a user, an administrator can see what roles a member's a part of. That kind of wraps that up. For the files that we're including, we have really 2 subfolders. We have a SQL one that includes all of our SQL files to rebuild the database, input, test data, stuff like that to be ready to go. It does require MySQL 8.0 or higher. Then we have another subfolder, www. That's all of our web files that would go into Apache and things for our PHP pages. Subfolder for our CSS files, like our main CSS file, the specific ones for other pages that have them. We have an image subfolder for all of our images. Then we have this ink folder for all of our included files. That'd be things for like our menu bars, for our footers, session checking, database information, stuff that's PHP but not actual pages. And then we have a subfolder for our JavaScript files to handle form validation and other interactions.
We hope you've enjoyed hearing about our library application. We learned a lot working through this project. Thank you and stay safe from all of us in Group 10.